Because last week, the talk of the town was this train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, and questions about whether Biden would go, questions about whether the transportation secretary would go. He ended up going. But there's also now this question of accountability, and you have these Ohio lawmakers weighing in here on next steps. I know you talked to Senator Sherrod Brown of Ohio. He's a Democrat. What did he tell you about what he wants to see going forward?
Now, he's focusing on what needs to change from the rail company, Norfolk Southern, encouraging new regulations or the restoration of old regulations to better prevent future train derailments and crises. A couple other pieces of news before we hear from Senator Brown. There will be congressional hearings into this. That's no surprise. There will likely be field hearings in Ohio or in East Palestine, but that won't happen in the short term, according to the congressman that represents that area. Now, what can be done legislatively, either to change the way this industry operates or change the rules and regulations? Let's hear from Ohio Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown. What do they seem at this point either reluctant or unwilling to do that Congress has to leverage them to do?
Well, they've not balked on anything yet in terms of payment. In fact, the EPA just handed a rule out down yesterday that they pay triple damages if they don't pay their commitments. I'm more interested in what they are doing in the future. Because I think they will. These are nickel and dimes compared to. I mean, they did a $3 billion stock buyback. They did a $3 billion stock back last year. They were probably going to do more this year. So these are a lot. This is not a lot of money to them, but they've got to make those residents whole, and we've got to make sure a year, 2 years, 5 years down the road. We just passed. Senator Tester and I wrote a bipartisan bill called the PACT Act to make sure that the hundreds of thousands of American veterans exposed to those football field-sized burn pits in Iraq and Afghanistan are taken care of. We listed 23 illnesses that could happen, lung and cancer illnesses, from that exposure. I'm looking at the same kind of construct here to make sure whatever cancers, whatever illnesses could develop in the next 1, 2, 5, 10 years, that Norfolk Southern compensates those people for their health care.
So you make the Republican congressman who represents Southeast Ohio, Caitlin, says it's premature to talk about new regulations until the investigation is complete.
It's a great interview, Scott, and also raises the point that we don't know what some of these consequences could be. Scott MacFarlane, thank you so much for covering several bases for us on Capitol Hill today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.